Perry accuser Derek Dixon sits down in a TV interview for the first time, sharing allegations of workplace assault and harassment. User claims that Tyler Perry denies, but Dixon says he's speaking out now to try to stop a billionaire who won't stop.
Our accuser, Derek Dixon, sits down in a TV interview for the first time, sharing allegations of workplace assault and harassment. These are claims that Tyler Perry denies, but Dixon says he's speaking out now to try to stop a billionaire who won't stop. The entertainment industry has weathered scandals before, but nothing could have prepared Hollywood for the shockwave that rippled across social feeds and news desks when Tyler Perry, one of the most powerful moguls in American media, was arrested. Perry, the billionaire known for building an empire on stories of struggle, faith, and redemption, now finds himself at the center of a federal investigation that is unraveling faster than any script he ever put to screen. It began quietly, but the quiet didn't last. On a calm Atlanta morning, black SUVs roared through the iron gates of Perry's private estate, shattering the stillness with flashing lights and the kind of precision reserved for only the most serious federal operations. Neighbors peered from behind their curtains as FBI agents in blue jackets swarmed the grounds. Tell us about the first time you ever met Tyler Perry. Yeah, I met him at his studio opening party in 2019. I was working for an events company, and we met, and he said to me, are you an actor? And I said, well, not right now. I'm working on it, but not right now. And he said, yeah, you are. We need to talk. You should get my carrying out a raid that left even seasoned officers visibly shaken. Witnesses whispered that the agents emerged with boxes of files, encrypted hard drives, and what appeared to be disguised panels removed from the mansion's walls. The sight was cinematic, but this wasn't television. This was the kind of raid that ends careers. Security staff, usually stoic and untouchable, looked rattled. Eyewitnesses said they had never seen the estate staff so shaken, murmuring among themselves as agents hauled away evidence. Those who lived nearby described the agents' demeanor as grim, as though even hardened professionals were disturbed by what they had uncovered. What made you decide to come forward with your story? I wanted to speak out and not stay silent about it anymore. And the questions immediately followed. What exactly was inside those boxes? Were they business records, as some might claim? Or the keys to exposing something far darker hidden behind Perry's fortress walls? Among the seized materials, the most chilling were the secret hard drives. According to insiders close to the investigation, these weren't the typical archives of studio footage or scripts. They were hidden, encrypted, camouflaged behind false panels, and locked with sophisticated codes. Why would a filmmaker known for transparency in his art go to such lengths to bury these files? The speculation is immediate and fierce. Could they contain proof of manipulation? Exploitation even worse. Federal agents aren't talking, but whispers inside the DA's office suggest these drives might hold evidence that could bring an empire down. For years, Tyler Perry was celebrated as a beacon of Black Hollywood. The man who wrote his own rules, created his own studio, and opened doors for countless actors. Now, the very machinery he built is being portrayed as a weapon turned inward, a system allegedly used not to inspire, but to control. Phones from Perry's camp went dark almost instantly after the raid. Lawyers quickly set up a war room, signaling that this wasn't a misunderstanding to be brushed aside, but a battle that would demand every ounce of legal firepower. Yet, the silence from Perry himself only fueled speculation. No Instagram post, no tearful press conference. What kind of a toll would you say that this is all taken on you? I was extremely anxious. The calls got to a point where the calls and texts were almost every day. Just this constant state of like, if I don't answer, I will lose my job. Just a void where a statement should have been. And into that void poured the voices of those who claimed they had lived the darker side of the Perry Empire. One of those voices belongs to Derek Dixon, an actor who had once seen Perry as a mentor, even a savior. Dixon, known for his role as Dale in the BET drama The Oval, detonated the first bomb when he filed a lawsuit that dragged everything into the open. But it wasn't just the legal filing. Dixon went on camera, sat beneath the glare of studio lights, and told the story himself. A story that turned the narrative around Perry from mogul to alleged predator. Dixon recalled their first meeting in 2019 at the gala opening of Tyler Perry Studios. He was there working an event, blending into the crowd when Perry approached him. "Are you an actor?" Perry asked. Dixon explained he wasn't working at the moment, but had hopes. Perry smiled and insisted he was indeed an actor and should get his number. On its face, it sounded like a dream come true, the kind of chance encounter that could launch a career. And in some ways it did. Months later, Dixon was cast in The Oval. But what should have been a career-making relationship, he now claims became something far more personal and toxic. As Dixon laid it out, the mentorship blurred into coercion. Messages allegedly began to arrive on his phone, messages that were later shown in court documents. They weren't the kind of encouragements a young actor expects from a mentor. They strayed into deeply inappropriate territory. "What's it going to take for you to have guiltless fun?" one message reportedly read. Another allegedly mused, "I would hope that you would let someone hold and make love to you." For Dixon, the words became impossible to ignore. The tension escalated in January 2020 when Dixon visited Perry's Atlanta mansion. It was supposed to be a safe evening. Drinks, conversation, and a guest house to sleep in so he wouldn't have to drive home. But when Dixon got into bed, he claims Perry followed him for over his house. "We're having some drinks in his guest house, and it was late at night, and he has a guest quarters and said that you can sleep there instead of, not driving, and his house is far from Atlanta and where I was living. And I got into bed, and then I noticed that he climbed into bed with me as well and started rubbing my leg. And I jumped up, climbing in beside him, rubbing his leg and making comments about his appearance." Dixon says he jumped out of bed immediately. "Turn around so I can look at you," Perry allegedly told him before finally leaving. Dixon thought the boundaries had been set that night. They weren't. The script itself seemed to mirror the nightmare. Dixon's character Dale was soon written off in brutal fashion, shot 4 times in the chest at the end of season 2. For Dixon, it felt like a warning: cooperate or lose everything. "If I don't make him happy, I could stay off the show for good," he recounted. To him, the power wasn't just in the personal dynamic, it was professional. Perry controlled the scripts, the sets, and the futures of those who depended on his empire. Things only worsened, Dixon claims. He described a pattern of psychological pressure, more late-night messages, more invitations, and more encounters where he says Perry crossed the line. One of the most damning allegations points to June 2021, when Dixon says Perry pulled down his underwear and told him to just go with it. Dixon says he locked himself in the bathroom, terrified, and refused to come out until Perry left. "Unless someone's been through something where they have their control over their body taken away, you don't really understand," he explained. The fear, the sense of being trapped, the terror of losing everything you worked for, Dixon says that was his reality. Perry's legal team immediately went on the attack, dismissing the lawsuit as nothing more than an opportunistic scam. Attorney Matthew Boyd released a sharp statement. "Tyler will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail." But the insistence of innocence didn't erase the unease left by the FBI raid. With every box of seized files, with every whispered report of hidden hard drives, the questions grew. If Dixon's claims were false, why did the FBI walk away from Perry's estate carrying so much? The cost for Dixon has been immense. In his interviews, he admitted the toll the ordeal has taken on his mental health. "I was extremely anxious," he said. "The calls got to a point where there were the calls and texts almost every day. Just this constant state of feeling like if I don't answer, I'll lose my job. I said, turn around so I can look at you and just commented on how I looked. And then he got up and left." So I thought after that instance, it was pretty clear that I was not interested in that type of a relationship. It was very, very strange. I mean, I think it's okay that people try to make a move or shoot their shot, but if they get rejected, I think that they should stop. For him, speaking out wasn't about a payout. It was about not staying silent any longer, about naming something he believed was festering behind the carefully polished walls of Perry's empire. And yet, what makes this case so explosive isn't just one actor's claims. It's the pattern it suggests. It's the idea that what happened to Dixon could have happened to others, and that the hard drive seized from Perry's mansion might contain the proof. For now, the FBI isn't releasing details, but insiders say the scope of the investigation goes well beyond Perry himself.